I'm at one of the best bodybuilding gyms in the world, where mass monsters come from all across the globe to train. And in this video, I'm gonna see if they'd be willing to take science-based advice from me, a science-based lifter who's much smaller than them. Let's find out. A lot of people think like, oh, if you want the best advice, you ask the biggest guy in the gym. So I'm trying to see if people who are bigger than me would be open to hearing science-based lifting advice.
Oh, I would for sure. If you're smart, you're gonna ask the big guy, you're gonna ask the science guy, who's also in shape, obviously, and then you just try shit out and see what works for yourself.
Hey bro, you're obviously way bigger than me, but I'm still wondering, would you be open to taking science-based lifting advice from me?
Absolutely, man. I'm always willing to learn. You might not agree with someone's entire training approach. There's always little things that you can take that you can apply to your own training.
Let's see your lateral raise technique, man.
All right.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna you say you're open to hearing advice?
Of course.
Okay, here's one thing. I would recommend raising this up.
Okay.
And the reason for that, if you put it at hand height and hold it here, you'll feel the most tension while your delt is most stretched. Because you're gonna get the most tension when the cable and your arm form a 90-degree angle.
Makes sense.
So if you go from the bottom, stand up, where does that 90-degree angle happen? About there.
Right.
So you're getting peak tension when the delt is most shortened.
Yeah.
Whereas if we raise this up, now you have peak tension right here. So you are getting the delt nice and stretched. You could probably step out even a little more and get a little more stretch here. I'm all on the stretch wave these days. I'm not saying it's the most important thing, but I think it matters.
That tension when the muscle's in the stretch position, that's what's going to tear up the muscle fibers. Like I emphasize that on all my lifts. I mean, I'm pretty big. It's working for me.
It's working for you. Exactly. That's it, bro.
But this is good. I'm going to try this today. My shoulder workout, man. This is nice.
All right, we got a certified big guy over here. Let's go see if he's willing to listen to me. Excuse me, bro. I was wondering if, even though you're way bigger than me, would you be willing to take some science-based lifting advice from me?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Would you be willing to show me how you bench?
Sure.
I want you to do whatever you would do.
All right.
Just pretend the cameras are not here. Pretend I'm not here.
Let's take the safeties off. I don't know why.
No. Okay, so first of all,
5.
I wouldn't, like, don't do this, but, you know, wait, so you want 5 plates? So this is 495 pounds.
3, 2, 1. Let's go, dude. Yep.
This is where I'll probably give you the science-based critique, trying to go for the junior world record on the bench press this year. And this is 550 pounds, more than I've ever actually deadlifted in my life, which is insane. All right, Damma, let's get it, buddy.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Drive, 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 come on. Nice work, bro. So you have a very unique benching style, which is just like brute force. So it reminds me of the deadlifters who just come and like grip and rip, but then they deadlift like 800 pounds. Who am I to tell you to pull the slack out of the bar? But in your case, I don't think I noticed a lot of leg drive. If you could push down and push the floor away from you, press the bar up and back, if that could help you generate more power, or maybe that would just make you overthink it and actually bench press less.
When I make any small adjustments where I kind of have to think about doing it, it always takes my mind off the actual lift.
It makes sense. And listen, like people kind of have this like caricature of what science-based lifting is. What it is to me is more along the lines of what's going to work the best. That doesn't mean it has to be based off a study. You can be doing your own experiment. And if what you're doing is working, then what am I going to say? You're one of the best bench pressers in the whole world. So it's like, you know, come on. So yeah, that was incredible, bro. You put on a great show. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, bro. This is probably my favorite back exercise. So can you show me how you do it?
Yes.
How would you load the plates here?
I put the 25 here just to have a bit more of like weight and resistance at the bottom. But I love to like really get like a good stretch.
That is exactly what I would do as well. That's really good. Good squeeze. Wow, that's the tempo you lift with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very controlled. I have to get incredibly nitpicky because this is like basically perfect. She's squeezing her mid-traps together. She's pulling them apart on the negative, and then look at the control on the negative. Like you can almost feel the fibers pulling apart on the negative. Whereas a lot of people who do this exercise will just let the weight free fall, and they only think about getting the weight up rather than controlling it on the way down. But that's when most of the growth happens. A double plus, you nailed it. Yeah, that's perfect, good job. No wonder you're so freaking jacked. What a lot of people do is they get so obsessed with adding weight that they let their form slip. And they're like, oh, I'm adding so much more weight, I'm getting stronger. But it's like, no, your form is just getting worse. But I think you can become so obsessive with the form that you just like, you can't get that like oomph in the movement anymore. As long as you can still get that oomph, then I think it's totally fine to be as perfectionistic about your form as you want to be. This guy is massive. Even though you're obviously a lot bigger than me, would you be open to taking a few science-based tips from me or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's a weak point that you're trying to bring up on your physique right now?
I would say my back, more or less.
Is it more mid-back or more width? So more like thickness versus width?
Like, yeah, more width.
Let's go do some pull-ups. You want to show me your technique?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Actually, I have another question for you. What's your weight right now, bro?
345.
Bro has like almost 200 pounds on me.
I need a lot of assistance.
Yeah? Yeah, well, if you're 345 pounds, that's a nice range of motion, man. Good control. So when I talk about technique from a science-based perspective, there's two things that I look for. One is range of motion.
Okay.
And the other thing is control on the negative.
Okay.
You did both of those things great.
Okay.
A lot of people on pull-ups cut the range of motion short either at the bottom or at the top, with the bottom being extremely important because that's where the lats are going to be most stretched.
Yes.
The other thing a lot of people do is they tend to use a lot of momentum on pull-ups. So they kind of use a lot of hip drive to get themselves moving, which I think is actually an advantage of using assistance because it forces you to be a little bit more locked in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Guys who are trying to get really, really jacked like you are actually almost too proud to use assistance. They almost see it as like, oh, I don't need assistance, bro. But I'm a lot lighter than you. I can do quite a few bodyweight pull-ups, but I find I can connect with my lats better if I use assistance. Yeah, so I thought that was a really great thing as well. The only thing I did notice, and I don't even think it's a bad thing, is that when you do your pull-ups, you almost arc a lot. You almost keep your head away from the bar.
Yes.
Do you notice that?
Yeah,
is that on
trying to bring my chest to the bar.
You're essentially squeezing your shoulder blades together.
Yes.
When you do that, if you stay completely upright, you'll isolate the lats a little more through, if you just turn side on, what's called shoulder adduction. So essentially bringing it down in this plane.
Okay.
Whereas the more you lean back, now you're gonna get some mid-trap involvement. Pull-ups are meant to be a complete back exercise.
Yes.
So it's not a bad thing, it's just different ways of executing it, I suppose. I'd give you an A double plus on your technique, it's great, yeah.
Coming from you means a lot.
Yeah. We wanna see what's going on. I was also incredibly curious, how many calories do you eat a day?
You know what? This year is actually less than usual. I'm like 7,000 calories a day. Less than
a day, 7,000, bro.
Like 65 to 7, usually, yes. Closer to 7.
How many grams of protein?
Just under 400.
And your body weight is 340. The studies do show that you tend to max out the anabolic response around 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So you could probably get away with like 350, 340, 350 at an upper end.
That's true.
I think I need like one more. Couple more big guys, big girls, whatever. Would you be open to taking some science-based advice from me, even though you're the pro?
I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't speak good English.
No, that's totally fine. Is it cool if I give you some workout tips?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What's a muscle that you're trying to improve for your next show? What's something you're really trying to work on?
My legs.
So what's an exercise that you've been doing to try to bring up your legs?
Squat.
Squat? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you show me how you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let's do it. So I just want you to front squat however you normally would. Nice. That was perfect. Your depth is great. Your walkout is efficient. Your rack position is good. A lot of people have a tendency when they front squat to kind of like let their back curve forward, but you do a really good job of keeping your elbows up and keeping your chest tall. You get really deep. A lot of bodybuilders especially will try to load too much weight to the point that they end up only going about like halfway down, whereas you get all the way down. So I have to ask you another question. You're trying to bring up your legs. So how many times per week do you train your legs?
2 per week.
2 days per week? Okay, so that's perfect as well. How many sets would you say you do for your legs?
I think 10.
About 10 sets? Okay, and you do that twice per week?
Yeah.
So you're doing about 20 sets per week?
Yeah.
So I have nothing for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's great. All right. So I was curious, even though you're obviously much bigger than me, would you still be open to taking training tips from me?
Yes, of course. For him, he always likes to get in new information and learn from others. If it works for him, great. If it doesn't, then at least he'll learn something new, right?
ما فيش حد متعلم كل شيء.
Yeah,
في بعض المعلومات أنا مش متعلمها.
Nobody knows everything. Of course, there's things that he doesn't know yet, so the more he knows, the better.
What's a body part that you're trying to improve this off season? Maybe a weak point or something that you're giving more attention to?
Thickness, yes.
Okay, so like mid traps. Mid traps. Okay.
Yes.
لا أوكي أنا معاه في أي تمرين.
Do you recommend anything?
For back thickness, there's actually something that I do on the T-bar row that we can try. It's a T-bar row that turns into a Kelso shrug. So once you hit failure, leave your arms straight and do this. So you're not rowing, it's a shrug. It's a mid-trap shrug. That'll allow you to get more reps for your mid-traps after you've exhausted your ability to fully row. So it's basically an extended set beyond failure. I just want you to try that out. So for mid-trap emphasis, flare the elbows out at about a 45-degree angle. If you keep them too tucked, it'll be more lat emphasis. And then once you can't squeeze it all the way up, keep your elbows locked and just shrug here. That's it. And so keep the elbows locked. And just squeeze, just squeeze. That's it. That's it, that's it, that's it. Nice. What do you think?
Yeah, good, good.
Yeah, good?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Look at his arms. Look at this. This is crazy, dude. Even though you're obviously way bigger than me, would you still be open to hearing science-based lifting advice from me?
Absolutely.
What would you say is a weak point on your physique, if any?
This isn't a good question to ask because I'm hypercritical. I think everything's a weak point.
So to me, that translates as no weak points.
One of the things I put most of my focus into is just the lats.
How many days a week do you train your lats right now?
I only train 4 times a week, so I train everything once. Biceps, I train twice.
Is there a reason for that? Like, do you think that you need 6 or 7 days for that muscle to feel recovered because you're hammering it that hard? Or do you think that after like 3 or 4 days, I'm not really sore anymore, I could come in and smash it again?
I mean, there's different ways to train, as you know, and one of the things that me and my coach have tried recently is a really high intensity program with lower volume. So we're only training 4 times a week, and with how hard I'm training, I do need about 6-7 days to rest to come back and have another good workout.
I mean, when you look at the studies on training frequency, they're mostly college-aged guys who are not even remotely at your level of muscular development. So it's like I'm totally open to the possibility that like once you get to this level, you can incur so much muscle damage in a session because of the loads you're using, because of how much sheer mass there is, that yeah, you just do need a long time for that stuff to get back to baseline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bro, I was nervous you were gonna say no about that science-based thing.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm joking. These are the hips you like? Okay. I want you to do it how you would do it, so don't try to science-ify it for the video.
Yeah.
Just normal. Nice. That's the tempo you'd normally use?
At this weight, yeah.
Yeah? One thing he's clearly doing is driving his elbow down. That's gonna activate his lat. And he's actually not doing what a lot of bodybuilders do on pull downs, which is squeezing their mid traps together. He's completely isolating his lat by driving his elbow down. There's almost no swaying, amazing control on the negative, and he's keeping his shoulders square. So if you look front on, he's not doing this, which a lot of people do to cheat. This is good. I think I can tell it's a non-dominant hand because you're like kind of curling with your wrist a little bit more. Also, when you extend, there's actually no need to extend back behind your midline because the lats have no leverage there. So a lot of people have a tendency when they do pull downs to go like way and pull back here, but your lats literally can't contribute to that motion. The traps can take over, but clearly he's trying to isolate his lats here, but that looks really good, Quinn.
You know, you said something and about the wrist being bent. I never catch that. And when I switched it, just something that small, I felt that much harder contraction.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because you see, like, when you're training your lats, there are multiple joints where tension can leak. It means that if there's unwanted movement here, that tension isn't being directed as efficiently to the muscle where you want it. Last question. What's your favorite pose?
Maybe a front double bicep.
Front double bicep?
Yeah.
Would you be down to do a front double bicep with me?
Oh, sure.
Yeah? All right, let's do it. Oh, I was gonna ask you, how heavy are you, bro?
My weight now is 293.
293.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Look at the arms, bro. That's insane. Just come up close on this. Bro. Yeah. That's great. You look insane. Yeah. Quentin is probably has the most amazing physique I've ever seen in person, like that I've stood next to. And it's funny that I asked him what his weak point was, and he was like, I don't know, I have so many. And it's like, I knew he didn't have one. I'm gonna go ahead and link everybody who is in this video's Instagram, YouTube, whatever, down below. So make sure you go show them some love, let them know that you came from this video. I really appreciate that. If you guys enjoyed it, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all here in the next one. Why did the big guy cross the road? Why did the big guy cross the road? Get to Tren. There's Tren on the other side. I don't know. You said to be funny, bro. I don't have jokes like that. I don't know.